In the ancient valley of Elah, two armies faced each other in a tense standoff. The Philistines, a formidable force, had gathered on one hill while the Israelites, filled with a mixture of fear and faith, were encamped on the opposite one. For 40 days, a challenge had been issued that froze the courage of every Israelite soldier. From the Philistine ranks emerged their champion, a giant of a man named Titan. He stood over 9 feet tall, a walking mountain of muscle and bronze. His armor gleamed in the sun, and his spear was as thick as a weaver's beam. Every morning and evening, Titan would stride out, and his voice would boom across the valley, mocking the Israelites and their God. He dared them to send out a single warrior to face him in combat, with the fate of both nations resting on the outcome of this duel. But no one in the Israelite camp dared to answer the call. Meanwhile, a young shepherd boy named Leo was sent by his father to the front lines. He was not a soldier, but was tasked with bringing supplies to his older brothers who were serving in the army. Leo was of humble stature, with a youthful face and hands accustomed to the shepherd's staff, not the sword. When he arrived at the camp, he heard Titan's defiant roar and saw the palpable fear that gripped the Israelite soldiers. He was astonished that no one would stand up to this giant who was defying the armies of the living God. His heart, filled with a faith that was as simple as it was profound, burned with indignation. He could not understand why the seasoned warriors of his people were cowering in fear. To him, Titan was just a man, and no man was greater than the God he served. Leo's youthful and seemingly naive courage was met with scorn by his own brothers. They accused him of being arrogant and of coming to the battlefield merely to watch the spectacle. But Leo was undeterred. He went before King Saul and declared his intention to fight the giant. Saul, seeing the boy's slight frame and lack of armor, was skeptical. He offered Leo his own armor, a heavy bronze helmet and a coat of mail, but Leo could barely move in it. He had not tested them, he said, and he would rely on what he knew. He took them off and instead armed himself with his shepherd's staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones he had picked from a nearby stream. With these simple tools, the same ones he used to protect his flock from lions and bears, he walked out to face the champion of the Philistines. Titan looked down at the approaching boy with contempt and disdain. He felt insulted that the Israelites would send a mere shepherd boy, armed with a stick and a sling, to fight him. "Am I a dog," he bellowed, "that you come to me with sticks?" He cursed Leo by his gods and promised to feed his flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field. Leo's response was not one of fear, but of unwavering faith. He declared that he came not with a sword or a spear, but in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom Titan had defied. He proclaimed that this very day God would deliver Titan into his hands, so that the whole world would know that there is a God in Israel. The battle was set. Titan, confident in his size and strength, began to advance, his heavy footsteps shaking the ground. Leo, nimble and swift, ran to meet him. He reached into his bag, took out a stone, and placed it in his sling. He began to whirl the sling above his head, the whirring sound cutting through the tense silence of the valley. With a practiced and powerful motion, he let the stone fly. It shot through the air with incredible speed and precision, striking the giant squarely on the forehead, the only part of him that was unprotected. The stone sank into his brow, and the mighty Titan, the champion of the Philistines, stumbled and fell face down on the ground. The shepherd boy, with a simple stone and an unshakable faith, had defeated the giant. The Philistine army, seeing their champion fall, was seized with panic and fled. The Israelites, their courage restored, let out a mighty roar and pursued them, winning a great victory that day. And so the story of Leo and the giant became a timeless testament to the power of faith and the idea that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. It is a story that has been told for generations, a reminder that even in the face of insurmountable odds, with faith as your guide, the weak can overcome the strong.